A very good afternoon to all my dear students. This is Dr. Rajendra Shevde, HOD, Department of Botany, ACS College, Landra. On behalf of the Department of Botany, I welcome all TYBSc semester to their semester 5, and today we are going to start with the introduction of the syllabus. This is the first slide which shows that the semester 5 we are starting our online lectures from today. This year for semester 5 I am going to teach you paper 2, that is plant diversity. So let's start with the introduction of the syllabus. Here the course code of this paper is USBO 502 and the title of this paper is Plant Diversity 4. The total credits of the paper 2 is 2.5 credits. Total 60 lectures are there. Total 4 units are there for this paper 2 plant diversity 4, of which the first unit is unit number 1, that is paleobotany. Now paleobotany is nothing but the study of plants which are fossilized. That means these plants were available or were present on the earth millions of years before. Please take a note that most of the plants are not all, but 90% of the plants are extinct, and these plants only found in fossil form. In this year we are going to study in paleobotany 3 genera, of which first one is the Lepidodendron, second one is Laginopteris, and third one is Pentazoolon. Lepidodendron, of course, in this particular genre we are going to study the root, stem, bark, leaf, male and female fructification. For Laginopteris, same, that we are going to study the root, stem, leaf, male and female fructification, and Pentazoolon also the same for all genera. Here we have to take a note that there is no live specimen available of these 3 genera. They are totally fossilized, and of course we are not going to study the process of fossilization, but we are going to study whatever the forms are found in the coal mines, because these are the deposits. They are been extinct due to the high temperature, high pressure, due to volcanic eruptions, and those got pressed under the high pressure and temperature and become a coal because they contain high amount of hydrocarbons. So that's why they are found in coal mines. So Lepidodendron, Laginopteris and Pentazoolon, 3 genera we are going to study for this year for semester 5. Now last and very important part or the chapter of this unit is contribution of Birbal Sahani and the information about the Birbal Sahani Institute of Paleobotany, which is situated in Lucknow. Now Dr. Birbal Sahani, he was the scientist. He is also called as the father of the Indian paleosciences, and he has established that institution in Lucknow in 1946. So let's have some look at some pictures of this for the unit paleobotany. We can take a look at this. On the left side is the huge plant Lepidodendron. Of course, these all 3 diagrams which are been presented here are the illustration, but of course we have got the whole plant. Sometimes we got the part of plant, sometimes we have got the very few part of the plant. So here is left side, that is green in color. It's a huge plant, height may reaches up to 200 meters, that is a Lepidodendron. Next to middle one upper is nothing but the Laginopteris. Here also there is the illustration. It shows the roots, then stem, then leaves, and it looks like plants, but these are nothing but the pteridophytes. And the third one, that is the middle down, that is nothing but the Pentazoolon. Now on the left side, on the right side, upper photograph is of Dr. Birbal Sahani, who has established Birbal Sahani Institute of Paleo Sciences. Here also we can see that in that logo, the illustration of Pentazoolon on its male and female cone. So he is called as the pioneer of the paleobotany in India. So these things we are going to study for Unit 1. Let's start with the Unit 2. In Unit 2 is the angiosperms. Angiosperms are nothing but the flowering plants. Of course, flowering plants do bear the seeds. So seed bearing plants and seeds are enclosed within the ovule, they are called as angiosperms. Whereas gymnosperms are different, their seeds are naked. They are also flowering, but their seeds are naked. In Unit 2, we are going to study gymnosperm. The first chapter of the angiosperm, Unit 2, we are going to study angiosperms, not gymnosperm. The first chapter of this unit is morphology of flower. In morphology of flower, we are going to study all parts of flower. What are flowers? Flowers are the reproductive organs of the angiospermic plants, or we can simply say green plants. So in flower, what are the different parts? That is calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Calyx, those are nothing but green in color. Corolla, they are colored one. And androecium is a male gametophyte and gynoecium is female gametophyte. So regarding this, we are going to study all parts and their modification in morphology of flower. Next chapter comes the complete classification of Bentham and Hooker. Of course, we are going to study for the prescribed family which have been listed below. 7 families are there. Bentham and Hooker, they were the curator and the director of the Royal Botanical Garden at London, and they have developed their own classification system in 18th century. We have to study what are the merits and demerits of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. Then we have total 7 families to study as per the classification system developed and designed by Bentham and Hooker. In that case, we are going to study the families also, then plants of economic importance, and then the fruit morphology of every family. So total we have 7 families: Caparidaceae, Umbelliferae, Cucurbitaceae, Rubiaceae, Solanaceae, Commelinaceae and Gramineae. Out of these 7 families, first 5 families are dicot families, that is Caparidaceae to Solanaceae, whereas Commelinaceae and Gramineae are the monocot families. So let's have a look at what are those families. This is what the picturization of morphology of flowers. We can see the LS of flower, which shows various parts: calyx, corolla, then androecium, gynoecium. On the left side is the gynoecium, LS of gynoecium. On the right side is the LS of antherlobes. And this is the illustration what we are going to study in morphology of flowering plants. Then on the right side is the table of the classification designed by a classification system designed by Bentham and Hooker. So Bentham and Hooker, firstly they divided into 2 parts: cryptogams and phanograms. Cryptogams, they are called as non-flowering plants. So bryophytes, pteridophytes, they come under the cryptogram. The phanograms, they are the flowering plants. Again he has divided phanograms into 3: dicotyledony, gymnospermy and monocotyledony. Dicot divided into 3, whereas monocots are divided into only 1. So this classification system in detail we will study in coming lectures. So these are the pictures of our families. 7 families we are going to study. The first one, that is Caparidaceae. This plant is grown. It always grows flourishly in Konkan area. The name of this plant, botanical name of this plant is Cleome, and it grows throughout the rainy season. By the end of the month of August or September, they flowers, and by the end of October, they vanishes. Next is Umbelliferae. Umbelliferae, the name of the family is only because of the umbel-shaped inflorescence of the family. And best example of this family is Coriandrum. Coriandrum is a plant we use it for flavoring in cooking. The next one is Cucurbitaceae, one of the most cosmopolitan family, famous family, grown for its economic importance. Cucurbita is the name of that particular plant, and because of this, family is called as Cucurbitaceae. The picture depicts the Cucurbita maxima, that we call commonly as pumpkin. So this is the Cucurbitaceae family. Bottle gourd, snake gourd, all these are grown in are found in throughout the world. They are grown for its vegetable purposes. Next family is the Rubiaceae. Very beautiful, bright red color flower we can see. These are nothing but Ixora coccinea. This family is also a cosmopolitan family, grown throughout the world, and we are going to study the Rubiaceae. For that plant is Ixora coccinea. The next is Solanaceae. This is another cosmopolitan family, and the plant is grown for its fruits as well as roots. Best example is Solanum tuberosum. Because of this plant name, the family is called as Solanaceae. Solanum tuberosum is nothing but commonly called as potato. The next two monocot families are there. Below the Cucurbitaceae is the Commelinaceae. Commelina is the very common name of that plant. It's a monocot family, grown near the damp and swamp area, found luxuriantly grown in rainy season. So we are going to study Commelina for Commelinaceae. And then Gramineae, the most widely distributed plants, grass family. Here the picture shows the rice cultivation. Of course, rice belongs to family Gramineae. So all these 7 families we are going to study for this Angiosperm unit 2 in semester 5. Next comes the unit number 3, Anatomy 1. In anatomy is nothing but the study of internal structure of plants and its parts. So stem, leaf, root. So we consider all these plant parts for internal study. That study is called as anatomy. Here for this year in semester 5 we are going to study anomalous secondary growth in various stems of various plants. There are total 4 stems are there and 2 roots. In case of this, Bignonia is a creeper, or we can call it as a climber. So Bignonia is there, Salvadora, which is nothing but a mangrove. Acheranthus is also there, which is also a climber, and Dracena, which is commonly grown in the garden. So anomalous secondary growth we are going to study. The meaning of anomalous means anomaly in the regular structure and function. Anomaly is nothing but abnormality. Normal growth is what? There is a primary growth, then secondary growth. But the secondary growth is interrupted by the anomaly or abnormality. So that secondary growth with abnormality is called as anomalous secondary growth. So for 4 these stem we are going to study. Then for storage root like beet Beta vulgaris, it is a red color root which is we use as a vegetable. And next is a radish, that also is used as a vegetable. For both roots, storage root, we are going to study the anomalous secondary growth. Then comes the next chapter, that is root stem transition. Root stem transition is nothing but when we germinate seeds is developed into a new individual. During the due course of the growth of the plant, there is the formation of root and stem with its branches. The stage between the formation of root and stem, or the part between the root and stem, shows the transition. So that's why the chapter is named as root stem transition. So we are going to study what is exactly root stem transition. And lastly, very simple and very common topic, that is types of stomata. Mostly we are aware of the mostly two types of stomata. One is called as the monocostomata, which is dumbbell shape, and the other one is dicostomata, which is the kidney shape. But there are another furthermore few types or 5 types of stomata are there, depending upon the arrangement of subsidiary cell with the guard cells. So there are 5 types: anomocytic, anisocytic, diacytic, and parasitic. And the last one, that is 5th one, graminaceous. So all these 5 types of stomata we are going to study in this unit. So let's have a look at what is the exactly picturization is there, what we are going to study. So these are the pictures. On the left side, first one, that is the teeth of Bignonia stem. Next is the teeth of stem of Salvadora. Then below the Bignonia is the sectional view of Dracena. Then comes the Acheranthus. The 4 stems are there. Then on the left side upper one, on the right side upper one is the Beta vulgaris, the sectional view of the Beta vulgaris. Below that is the radish. Then last 2 on the downside, or the right side one, is the root stem transition. It's a diagrammatic representation of the root stem transition. And adjacent to that is the types of stomata. So we can easily depict how the stomata are classified. So this is about the unit 3 anatomy. Last unit, that is unit 4, that is palynology. Palynology is nothing but a study of pollen grains. Pollen grains are male gametes. These male gametes are developed in male gametophyte called as anthers. And anthers are with filament altogether is called as androecium. So in this we are going to study the palynology, that is pollen morphology. And pollen morphology means morphology of pollen. What is the exact structure, internal, external structure of pollen grains, and their classification, that is called as NPC chart. N for number, P for position, and C for character. So NPC chart, that is been developed by scientists, that we are going to study in the pollen morphology. Next chapter comes, that is pollen viability. Pollen viability, of course, the pollen grains, when they receive the favorable condition, they germinate or they become viable to produce pollen tube. Now pollen grains do have a male gamete nucleus, which actually develop pollen tube. That pollen tube carries towards the ovule, where the male gamete fertilizes the female gamete. So that germination of pollen tube, that is pollen viability, we are going to study. And then we are going to study the effect of storage of for the purpose of pollen viability. Then germination of and growth of pollens also we are going to study, how the pollen grains germinate, and then how they develop the pollen tube, and then how the pollen grain developing pollen tube get fertilized with the female gametophyte, that is female gamete, that is called as ovule. And lastly, that is the application of palynology in various fields, including honey industry, coal and oil exploration, aerobiology, pollen allergies, forensic sciences. So all these various industries, we have application of palynology. So let's see some pictures of unit 4. These are the pictures of the pollen palynology. We can see a very yellow bright color pollen grain showing apertures and appendages. So very common pollen grain is there. Then how the pollen are means what is exactly how they develop, because the process of forming pollen grains is called as microporogenesis, and pollen grains are also called as microspore. So middle picture is the germinating pollen grains. On the right side also some colored picture of the pollen grain which are germinating and forming the pollen tube. And last following downside pictures are nothing but the application of palynology. The first one, application of palynology in honey industry. So honey is nothing but the processed nectar collected by honeybees from various flowers. So we are going to study what are the applications of pollen grains in or palynology in honey industry. Then palynology in oil exploration. Oils are found in coal mines, oil wells, where they also play important role. What are the characteristics of pollen grains found in oil industries, oil exploration from oil mines? These are the crude oils which are found in earth crust. So we are going to study palynology in oil exploration also, and coal mines. So forensic science. Forensic science is one of the best example of studying palynology, because forensic science is nothing but the investigation of criminal scenes or offences, and where we can see that pollen grains are very minute. They found on the culprits also and on the suspected also, and with the help of this forensic science we can study who is the exact culprit. So forensic science and palynology is related. Then aerobiology. Aerobiology is nothing but the study of aerial microorganisms, mostly pollen grains. So most of the area in grasslands, there is formation of there most of the people are affected by the pollen grains and their allergies. So on the right side down, we can see that one girl is there. She is sneezing because of the allergy of the pollen grains. So aerobiology and pollen allergy also we are going to study in this unit. So this is all about our 4 units we are studying in paper 2 for semester 5. Of course practicals are there. For practicals, for this paper we have practicals, but at this moment it's not possible to conduct practicals, but keep in mind that we will conduct few practicals which can be conducted with a demonstration online. So that we are going to conduct practicals, and this is all about the chapters or units we are studying for paper 2 in semester 5. So I welcome all students again for semester 5, and please go through the PPT presentation and the syllabus copy which has been already provided to you. And from tomorrow we will start with unit, that is unit 2, angiosperm. And first I will start with the morphology of flower, and there is also a PPT presentation and a video with sound will be available to all students. So this is all about our theory paper. Of course we have 100 marks question papers for your semester 5 examination, and practicals with 50 marks. We have to consider all topics, all chapters for studying unit 4. So once again all the best to all of you, and thank you. Thanks a lot.